Elizabeth Taylor was married to Eddie Fisher, Carrie Fisher's father, from 1959 until 1964, until he discovered the truth about her affair with another member of the Hollywood elite. Some of her life will be explored in the new A Life in 10 Pictures docu-series on BBC One, though one of her most dramatic moments came away from the big screen. During the production of 1961's Cleopatra, Elizabeth met Richard Burton and the two hit it off almost immediately. The sparks were flying between the two, and it wasn't long before they gave in to their desires and engaged in a torrid love affair. Ultimately, Eddie discovered the truth about the two, though ironically his and Elizabeth's marriage also started as an affair. Their marriage began as an affair and ended the same way, though one night an enraged Eddie held Elizabeth at gunpoint, threatening to end her life. How did Eddie Fisher find out about the affair? The truth of the affair came from Richard of all people, who told Eddie point-blank about what he and Elizabeth were doing. During the filming of Cleopatra, Eddie inadvertently ended up on the phone with Richard when he phoned home, and the following conversation changed everything. As stated in the biography Furious Love, Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, and the Marriage of the Century, their exchange was more forward than Eddie was expecting. According to Vanity Fair, Eddie asked, "What are you doing in my house?" Richard replied, "What do you think I'm doing? I'm effing you, wife." What did Eddie Fisher do after finding out about the affair? Once he realized the truth, Eddie spiraled into a rage and rushed home to their beautiful Italian mansion. When he arrived, he pulled out a gun on his wife in a moment of weakness. However, he stopped himself from pulling the trigger. As stated in the biography, he said, "Don't worry, Elizabeth, I'm not going to kill you. You're too beautiful." Soon after, Eddie granted her a divorce, leaving her free to pursue an open relationship with Richard. How long were Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor married for? Shortly after the divorce, Elizabeth and Richard tied the knot that same year in 1964. They were married until 1974 until they split, though they briefly remarried from 1975 to 1976, but it wasn't meant to be. They shared a tumultuous relationship, often seen fighting with one another over the years. Ultimately, Richard died in 1984, though Elizabeth's feelings stayed strong until the end. After his death, in an interview with Vogue, she said, "I was still madly in love with him the day he died. I think he still loved me, too."